where matter is composed of indivisible pellets. You see? The atom, our atomos, cannot be split. Indivisible pellets of matter. The being pellets of bare, senseless matter have no relationship to anything else, except incidental spatial relationships. And in a uniform space and time, their own spatial temporal identity doesn't mean a thing. It's only a relationship that's external. So he's talking of the atomistic nature of things, and these simple ideas come and go, vibratory existence. Later on, when he gets to talking about quantum physics, he comes back to this notion of vibratory existence because the quanta of energy in quantum physics come and go. You see? And if you think of the life cycle of any organism, primitive or advanced, we come and go, but biodegradable. You see? Well, the unit of reality in his theme is the event. Events come and go, vibratory existence. Okay. So this notion then develops. The question is whether this vibratory existence has any meaning or not. And he points out that he's going to change the picture from a mechanistic picture of these indivisible little pellets, you see, to an organic picture, or if you like, an organismic picture. The model is not that of a machine, cause-effect mechanisms. It's that of an organism, where the parts of an organism are interdependent. You see, they don't have separate existence. They're internally related in the sense that the one is defined in its relationship to something else. That's why it's important to watch what you eat. You see, because of the organic interrelatedness of everything, essentially. So he's going to have an organic model then, with internal relationships, rather than a mechanistic model with external relationships. You'll find that he talks of atomism, an atomistic philosophy. Yes, he has sort of an atomistic view of events. But they're atoms in an organic interrelationship with one another, internally related to each other, growing out of one another. You see, that the genetic notion that we were on last time, that an event has a life cycle, from the initial objective data which gives rise to a new event, through to the final satisfaction, the culmination, which then becomes the thesis for the next antithesis of further objective data, which precipitate another event. You see, like in Hegel, thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and the synthesis then is the thesis for the next thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and the synthesis is a thesis for the next thesis, antithesis, synthesis. All right, Whitehead changes the vocabulary, but does the same thing. So the satisfaction provides the thesis for the next event. It's vibratory existence, but with internal relationships. Chapter 3 does deal with that problem of induction. And after talking of the difference between a mechanistic model and an organismic model, the difference between atomism with external relationships and atomism with internal relationships, he can now address the problem of induction. Why is induction a problem? Precisely because the moments of experience are unrelated one to another. They are atoms of perception that have no bearing on future experience. There are no internal relationships. So that the association of ideas is by some sort of psychological process, but there is nothing intrinsic to any one idea which means that something else is around the corner. In other words, it was the theory of external relations in Hume's atomistic view of ideas and impressions, which means that you do not, therefore, have any impression of the causal connection between experiences or ideas or events. The causal connectedness would be a relationship, but you don't experience those relationships. All you experience is constant conjunction, sequence. A followed by B, always A followed by B, always A followed by B, but you don't see the relationship. The causal connection is unknown. And because the causal connection to what is as yet beyond present experience is unknown, well, how can you make inductive generalizations? How can you, by inductive reasoning, make predictions? So you have a problem with induction. So the problem that he cited at the beginning, that the order of nature, the uniformity of nature, the orderedness of nature, is a presumption that's not empirically proven. You see? And that statement at the beginning is simply a reference to Locke's problem. Now he knows why Locke had a problem. And namely, the wrong scientific abstraction led him down a garden path, created the problem. But as he indicated, in concrete experience, in the immediacy of our own experience, there's no problem. So he talks then of this in terms of two fallacies. You see, the critical function is trying to criticize the abstractions, and he finds two fallacies here, the fallacy of simple location and the fallacy of misplaced concreteness. Now, the fallacy of simple location is the assertion that things have fixed locations in space and time. That if here is a spatial field, things have fixed locations just like that. A simple location. That is to say, you think of their location as abstracted from everything else. Whereas in reality, these locations are defined in terms of relationship to other things. And by the time you bring the time dimension into the notion of spatial location, then obviously there is no simple location. You see, in terms of the relationship between these 3 points. If in the process of time this is moving that way, and this is moving that way, and this is, say, stationary, then what you say about the relationship between point A and point B is going to be different at different times. And what you say about C being in relationship to A and B, makes it even more confusing. You know, it's just that there are no such things as simple locations, because of movement in time. Because space is just a pattern of relationships, nothing more. You see, he's giving it the relativity of space-time. So then, the fallacy of simple location. Second is the fallacy of misplaced concreteness. You see, concrete, abstract, those are the antitheses. Misplaced concreteness is when you give concrete existence to an abstraction. You see, the idea of a fixed point is an abstraction. It doesn't exist, because everything's in change, motion. So the idea of a fixed point is an abstraction. Fallacy of misplaced concreteness. The idea of an event without internal relationships to other events is an abstraction. So in constructing a scheme in which you have events or atoms of that sort, misplaced concreteness. And there's nothing that could be said about you that's worse, from Whitehead's standpoint, that you engage in the fallacy of simple location or the fallacy of misplaced abstraction. Those are the unpardonable sins, philosophically. And his reason for this is that they fail the test of empirical adequacy. Because abstractions of that sort are just not adequate to concrete experience. You see, so that criterion of empirical adequacy which he has in testing abstractions comes into play in that way. Okay, on that topic, take a look at page 50. Page 50. At the bottom of the page, the new paragraph. Are you following all right? Okay. Bottom of the page, new paragraph. This simple location of instantaneous material configurations, simple location of instantaneous material configurations, is what Bergson has protested against. Well, you've read a bit about Bergson and stuff. Okay. Another process philosopher. As far as it concerns time, yes, Bergson stressed relativity of time. He protested against it so far as it's taken to be the fundamental fact of concrete nature. He calls it a distortion of nature due to the intellectual spatialization of things. I agree with Bergson. But I don't agree that it's a vice necessary to the intellectual apprehension of nature. Bergson thought it was. And in subsequent lectures I'll endeavour to show that the spatialization is the expression of more concrete facts under the guise of very abstract logical constructions. There's an error, but it's merely the accidental error of mistaking the abstract for the concrete. An example of what I call the fallacy of misplaced concreteness. Then the next paragraph, it's at once evident that the concept of simple location is going to make great difficulties for induction. Induction. For if in the location of configurations of matter throughout a stretch of time there is no inherent reference to other times, past or future, it immediately follows that nature within any period doesn't refer to nature in any other period. Accordingly, induction is not based on anything that can be observed as inherent in nature. There's no broader reference than to the present. Thus, we cannot look to nature for the justification of our belief in any law such as the law of gravitation. The order of nature cannot be justified by the mere observation of nature. There's nothing in the present fact which inherently refers either to the past or the future. It looks therefore as though memory as well as induction would fail to find any justification within nature itself. You may notice there is some sort of a similarity between Hegel's literary style and Whitehead's. I was commenting to somebody the other day that whereas in people like Locke and Descartes you take a paragraph and you tend to have a succession of ideas that logically follow one from the other, step, 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 step. In Hegel what you have is a thesis statement at the beginning of the paragraph and then a mulling around in that concept for the rest of the paragraph. You see? And that's what you have in Whitehead. It's the same sort of thing. Then you have this business of misplaced concreteness. At the bottom of that page, he talks of two correlative categories of substance and quality, and calls these misplaced concreteness too. Well, those of you who were here the last day before break when we were talking about F.H. Bradley, why do you laugh at that one? Those of you who were here, yeah, not half of you, two-thirds of you were here, when we were talking about F.H. Bradley. F.H. Bradley explicitly rejects such dichotomies as sheer abstraction, substance quality. So, in the preface to his Process of Reality, Whitehead lists all of the things that he takes to be sheer abstractions, and that list corresponds pretty well to Bradley's list. It's in that context that he says he is taking Bradley's metaphysics and translating it onto a naturalistic basis. You see, the same abstractions, though what they take to be the concrete reality is different. Chapter 4 critiques the 18th century thinking, where the antithesis of mind and bare matter is another sheer abstraction. Another sheer abstraction. Whitehead, it turns out, has a double aspect theory, so that any event has both its physical and its conceptual aspect. Now you recognize that if you hark back to the analysis of an event. And in his analysis of an event, to the idea of prehension, which is the way in which, in a process, objective data come into the act by what he calls physical prehension, physical causation. While in conscious perception is consciousness of a stimulus, of a physical stimulus. And in addition to that, it's the way in which eternal objects, those eternal possibilities, come into the act by conceptual prehension. So that you have two kinds of prehension, physical and conceptual prehension. So that every event has these two sides to it, you see. That is to say, it has, on the one hand, its internal relatedness to other events which are pending. Perhaps I should say impending, not impending, but impending, I-N. It has that relationship. It also has a relationship to the logical possibilities that poses. The conceptual prehension, which in conscious thought are conceived possibilities, thought possibilities, ideas. So in that sense, every event has these two aspects. Every event of human consciousness has those two aspects, the physical and the mental, as we call them. Now, to say that that means there are two substances, as Descartes said, mind-body dualism, you see, misplaced completeness. All we have empirically in concrete experience is the event, and the two aspects of the event. The concrete is two things out of two aspects of an event, invokes a substance, quality, distinction, which is sheer abstraction. So his critique goes that way. He therefore is critical of both Descartes' dualism and metaphysical materialism, where there is one substance, matter, one kind of substance, and metaphysical idealism, if that's an idealism of mind substance, spiritual substance, as in Berkeley. So any metaphysical substance he repudiates, because concrete experience is about events. We don't have empirical basis for the other. Now, it's also in chapter 4 that he gets at the atomism business and the internal-external relationships a little bit more. You'll notice on page 64, 65 through to 72, 73, he points out that in talking of whether atoms or events, the 18th century writers speak of the separative character of space and time. So that things are separated in space, separated in time. That's involved in the atomism notion. Space and time separate us, one from another. Now, he maintains that's just a part of the story, not the whole, and insists that space and time, in addition to having a separative character, also have a prehensive character. Prehensive. Yeah, that is to say, prehension, whether it's physical or whether it's conceptual, is of the very nature of an event, you see. So that space-time events are interrelated by physical prehension. Yeah, to the very nature of things. The causal connectedness is intrinsic to the whole notion of an event. There wouldn't be an event without objective data, in truly. So this sort of concern becomes extremely important. Look on 69 and 70. You get the initial notion of this on 64, but on 69 and 70 you get some other stuff that's related to this. Let's see. The word perceive, in our common usage, is shot through with the notion of cognitive apprehension. So is the word apprehension, even with the adjective cognitive omitted. So I use the word prehension for uncognitive apprehension. Apprehension which may or may not be cognitive. Now, take Euphrayor's last remark. This is in one of Berkeley's writings. It's not plain, therefore, that either the castle, the planet, or the cloud which you see here are the real ones which you suppose exist at a distance. Accordingly, there is prehension. It's plain. That's the case. There's a prehension here in this place of things which have a reference to other places. What you see here are the real ones that exist at a distance. Prehension is both separative and space is both separative and prehensive. Well, Berkeley's sentences contend that what constitutes the realization of natural entities is being perceived. Yes, to be is to be perceived. Remember Berkeley? Well, we can substitute the concept that the realization, the reality, is a gathering of things into the unity of apprehension. To be is to prehend. Not to be is to perceive or to be perceived, but to be is to prehend or to be prehended. Yes, so Berkeley had a clue, being misread. Yes. What is realized, the reality that comes into being, is the prehension, not the thing. God's thinking doesn't make things, it makes prehensions. And then on 70, the end of that paragraph halfway down the page, concrete fact is process. Its primary analysis is into underlying activity of prehensions, into realized prehensive events. Each event is a matter of fact, individual matter of fact, issuing from an individualization of substrate activity, not substrate stuff, but activity. Individualization does not mean substantial substance independence. So, okay, I guess that'll do it on that. Then you get the romantic reaction, chapter 5. And I urge you to enjoy that. It's very significant, but after the poetry, the philosophy becomes more explicit even. So that on page 89 and 90, he gives 3 reasons for rejecting the subjective idealism of Berkeley. 3 reasons. About 12 lines down on 89, one reason arises from direct